G'day and welcome to today's bottom-up boats splicing lesson where we teach you how to create Dyneema loops. All you'll need to make today's loop is some 4mm core, your D-Splicer, a pair of scissors, some whipping twine and a needle, and your good old Sharpie pen. If you need any of this kit, we've got some links in the description below to allow you to pick it up and get it delivered to home. Step 1 is to create an oval with the size of loop you would like to create. Following it up with a second circumference of the rope, getting as close to possible as 2 complete loops before cutting off the tail of the rope. You want to ensure that when you have it laid out that you have 2 loops the majority of the way around, leaving a small amount with 1 thread of line. The reason for this, it allows you to bury the tails around the majority of the loop, which will lock it off once complete. Step 2 is to create 2 marks at the top of the loop before laying it out and then putting a 3rd mark at the center point of the rope. Step 3, you want to grab your D-Splicer, sliding it up the core, teasing the rope all the way along until you come to the mark you created in step 2. Popping it out and then collecting the opposite tail of the loop, pulling it back down to the central mark. Step 4, once you've got the tail pulled out, you want to take a needle and just pop it through the line to prevent you losing the tail back up inside the core of the rope. Step 5 is a repeat of step number 3. You just need to take a little bit more care to tease the rope in the right order to ensure you can get the tail pulled through at the right point. So once again, taking your D-Splicer, going to the central line and feeding it all the way through the core of the rope until you come out at the final mark. You may need to just tease the rope to allow you to get enough of the main line of the core on the D-Splicer, but with a little bit of care, you can pop it out once again before grabbing the tail of the line and pulling it back through to the central point. Step 6, you want to take your scissors and taper the ends of both of the tails. You do this by pulling them through, then pulling out some strands a couple of inches down from the end before snipping them off and working your way forward, taking a few strands each time. You want to do this to ensure there is not a bump in your loop where the tails end inside the core. Once you have completed your second tapering of the tail and slid the outer core, burying it up inside, you've effectively completed your Dyneema loop. You can see where the lines go in at the central point, and as you apply load, the outer core tightens over the 2 tails buried up inside, creating a loop that should not slip. The final step in the process is optional, but if your loop is going to operate under light loads, there is a chance that it may slip. So to prevent this from happening, we always advise that you take your whipping twine and your needle and just put a few stitches through both the inner and outer cores at the central point where you buried the lines. This will complete your loop, ensuring that there's no chance of slippage, even if it is not placed under heavy load. So that completes today's video. We showed you how to create a Dyneema loop. If you learned something along the way, why not leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe to ensure you get all the latest updates from bottom-up boats as soon as they're released.